Hello everyone, it is Lauren. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. First things first, little disclaimer. I am studying abroad right now in Spain, so I apologize for this kind of like eclectic backdrop, but there isn't really like AC, so I have the window propped open, so that's why you hear cars like zooming by and honking and whatnot. So I am gonna try to leave the window open and hopefully this footage isn't too crazy loud, but I just don't want to die of a heat stroke. And if you know me, you also know that I'm always sweating, so. Anyways, so I do want to talk to you guys about actually starting this kind of new college series that I have just kind of been thinking about. I've been seeing a lot of like college advice videos, college organizational videos, dorm videos. I kind of want to do the same for you guys. I feel like these videos can be very, very helpful for those just starting college or even those in college. So today's video is going to be kind of what I learned my first year of college and tips and things that I can share for you guys. Maybe these are things that like I personally did well and worked out for me, or maybe they are things I wish I did. Obviously, I'm not an expert on college, but I had a phenomenal year. I'm extremely lucky for that. But yeah, I feel like I did things pretty well. So please excuse my one acrylic nail that I have left. It is so foul and I've gotten all of my other ones off. And so this is just, yeah, don't want to talk about it. So I have all my notes written down of things that I just want to share with you guys. So I have this video separated into 3 different sections. The first section is an academic section. So I'm going to be talking about all things class, you know, school, duh. The second section is actually going to be a social section. So these are things just like how to make friends, things that's going to make your life easier with making friends. And then I literally have a random section of like lifestyle, just random little things that you need. But I am actually going to make a separate video on like what you should pack for college and like dorm essentials, so stay tuned for that. There's a literal bus barreling down the road right now. Kicking things off with the academic section, as I recently said, you need to buy a planner and a calendar. So I am going to go into more detail in an organizational video about like how I organized kind of all my classes, all that type of stuff. But to give you a brief rundown, what I basically had was a planner where I kept all of my homework, all of my classes, all that stuff that I could put in my backpack. And then I also had a calendar on my wall that gave me like a nice overview of like different trips I had, maybe big tests I had, stuff like that. I had another like daily planner where I actually broke down my days by the hour. This is like, don't feel like you need to do this, but definitely 2 things that I would solidly invest in are a planner and a calendar. They're just things that you really, really need, and it's going to make your life a lot easier, because if you don't write anything down and you don't keep track of when you have tests, it's just going to feel like you're drowning in work and it's all going to kind of hit you at once. So I was really grateful that right off from the bat I write down when all my assignments due and homework and stuff like that. So this kind of goes perfectly in with my next point, which is make sure to save your syllabus, and with that make note of all important due dates and tests. So don't throw it away. If your teacher doesn't print it out for you, print it out yourself and keep it. Go to the back where there's like a layout of when all of your like big assignments are going to be, and write it down. Write it down on the big calendar that you have of each month, and you're like, okay, 2 months from now I have a midterm. It's going to make your life so much easier, because even when you flip to that month, you're going to be like, oh wow, in 3 weeks I have this due. So it's just so nice to have an overview of things and to know when things are due. Also to just know about like participation policies, attendance policies, stuff that you want to know. So at the end of the semester, you're just like, whoa, why do I have a bad grade? Oh, I haven't been coming to class. Like, these are just things that you are gonna want to know, because every professor varies a lot. So you want to make sure you know about each individual policy of the classes that you're taking that semester or that quarter. My school, by the way, I go to Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, and that is on the semester system. So if I'm bringing up semesters and stuff like that, that's why. But obviously this is applicable to the quarter system as well. Do not throw away any assignments that your professors hand back to you. Some professors grade your work and then hand it back. Some don't. Some do like online submissions, but every single thing that they give back to you, keep. I actually had like folders from every class, and I would put all my assignments that were turned back to me in there, because when you go to study for tests, even when you go to write a new paper, you want to be able to go and look back at that old work, or it's great for making study guides at the end of the semester as well. So do not throw away any of your work throughout the semester. This kind of goes along with that point too. So I love using Google Drive. That is like my thing. I was taught how to use it in like 7th grade, and I've just kind of used it ever since. So your university will probably give you a school email. So what I did is within that school email, I actually made a folder for each one of my classes. So say I was taking a communications course, I would label that folder Nature of Inquiry, and then all the papers that I wrote and typed up and did online, I would save into that folder. Not only is this amazing for doing study guides and things like that, but especially for classes that you're taking for your major, I cannot tell you how many times I went back to that folder second semester and was like, oh, I'm writing a paper on something I remember learning about first semester. Let me just go hop on over there, kind of look at the paper, what I wrote, look at the ideas I had. A lot of times you're going to write like I think it's like a capstone or like a senior thesis. So like you want to be saving the work that you're doing for all these years. This one, you guys, I don't think I can stress to you enough. And it's to go to office hours. I'm extremely fortunate enough to go to a smaller university where like my biggest class is around 20 students. But even if you go to that type of university, I still went to every single one of my professors' office hours. My first semester, I had a really challenging course that wasn't in my major, but I went to office hours every single week, and I did manage to get a B in that class, and I did horrible on the midterm. You literally get one-on-one tutoring from your professor. Like, seriously, please take advantage of that. I also built a really strong connection with that professor in the class that I was struggling with, and she saw how much I was trying, and she actually offered me a job at the end of the semester. So like, you know, don't go to office hours to get a job, but go to get help, and they're going to see how much you're trying, and they're going to get to know you better as a person, and you never know what might come from that. My next piece of advice is definitely to research your classes and take classes you enjoy, and this goes hand in hand with Rate My Professor. I kind of knew about Rate My Professor first semester, but first semester your classes are almost kind of picked for you, but seriously, you guys, like the difference between first semester and second semester for me in terms of classes was like day and night. I loved my classes second semester. I loved my classes all year, but they were just so much more up my alley second semester, and I was so much better at them, and I just felt so much more confident, and I was like way more excited to do my work. So definitely use Rate My Professor, because you want to know just kind of like what you're getting yourself into, and you know, if that professor is really hard, or if the class is even like up your alley. The class that was really hard for me first semester, I actually didn't know this, it was a core class, but there was like a list of about 50 different core classes I could have taken to fulfill that requirement, and I picked like one of the hardest ones that wasn't even within my major. My major's communications, by the way, with a minor in film, media, and TV. And you know, it is a bit of trial and error. You're gonna have to take some classes that you don't like to learn that you don't like them. But make sure you use Rate My Professor, look up the teacher, look up the class, but also take Rate My Professor with like kind of a grain of salt, because some person might have had like a super negative experience and just like done that, or someone might have had a really positive experience, and obviously everyone's different, but for the most part it does give you a very general consensus as to what that class is going to be like. Alright, my last two academic pieces of advice. Don't study in your dorm room. This is really hard because it's really convenient to just kind of be there in your own space, but living in a dorm room, as fun as it is, even though most likely it's kind of on campus and you're at school, it's still kind of your home. So I always think it's like good to separate kind of like work and just being able to like go to bed and relax. I was just much more productive doing homework in like a coffee shop or the library or something like that. So try not to study in your dorm room. It's oftentimes kind of loud, and there's just a lot more people, and it's really easy to be like, oh, maybe I'll fold my clothes, oh, maybe I'll organize my makeup, oh, maybe I'll do this, that, and the other, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, an hour's gone by and I've done negative homework. My last and final piece of academic advice is just to go to class. I missed 2 classes this year, the whole entire year, 2 class periods, and they were both because I was home out of town, and it was kind of just like a situation where it would have been really hard for me to go back and make it to these classes. But yes, I missed 2 class periods, and I'm really just glad I did. You're paying so much money to go to school, so just show up. Don't waste your money. At private schools especially, your classes are so small that if you don't show up, the teachers will literally see like, oh, they're not here. But even in those giant classes where it feels like the teacher is not going to notice that you're there, when I was touring, I think University of Oregon, they told me something that really stuck with me, and it's like, wherever you sit in the class, say you sit in the first or second row, the people in front of you are the only people in the class. Like, however many people behind you isn't going to matter because you don't see them. So just sit in the front of the class. Take in as much information as you can. You're there to learn. You're there to, you know, go to class. Just go to class. Like, come on. It's not that hard. So moving on to the social category. My first piece of advice in this category is to talk to people in your classes. Not only is it obviously a great way to make friends, but it makes studying so much easier. You can make study groups if you guys have a big assignment, if you guys have a final. It's really, really helpful to be able to run ideas off other people that are obviously studying the same thing as you. And especially if you're making connections with those classes that you're taking for your major, most likely you will have people maybe in your classes again if they are in your same major. So I just really recommend talking to people in your classes. It's a great environment to meet new people. My second piece of advice is to leave your dorm room open. Basically, my best friends at school, like me and my roommate Hannah, were really, really good friends. And then these girls that lived across the hall from us, we literally called them the girls across the hall, Nicole and Annalise. Shout out to you guys. They lived across the hall from us, and for the first month, we just kind of awkwardly waved and kind of disregarded each other, and it was super uncomfortable. And then Hannah and Annalise and Nicole are actually all science majors, so I believe they had a class together, and randomly one night Annalise came in and was like, I just have a question about the homework. And they stayed in there and talked to us literally till 2 a.m. I kid you guys not. And ever since September, I believe, we have just been such good friends. We'd hang out every single weekend. We're visiting each other this summer. Leave your dorm room open because it's such a fun way to meet people. Then even if people are just walking by, you can give them a wave. Just get to know the people on your floor. This kind of goes with the last piece as well, but it is to hang out in your common room. My common room was super fun. I lived on a co-ed floor in a co-ed building, so there was a wing for girls and a wing for guys. Actually, second semester, every single Tuesday, I believe, a bunch of us went out and watched The Bachelor in the common room, which was so fun. A lot of times people went out there and did homework. It was just a great place to kind of chit-chat with people. My next piece of advice for the social aspect of college is to get involved with an organization. Now, this does not have to be Greek life whatsoever. I am involved in Greek life at my school, and I absolutely love it, but it totally doesn't have to be. You can do Greek life, you can join a club. This can maybe just mean getting a job for you, but definitely second semester, I did get 2 jobs. I joined Greek life. I got a lot busier, but I felt incredibly more connected to my school. I met so many more people, and I just felt like I was adding a lot more value to my campus as a whole. So I feel like getting involved is just going to give you that greater purpose on your college community, and it's so much fun. Phenomenal way to meet people. And then my last piece of advice for social, this one is kind of funny, but for me it is to get over FOMO. I don't often have FOMO, but I saw a lot of people that did. In college there's almost always something going on, like different nights of the week, but you need to realize that your schedule and your priorities are going to be different than everyone else's. Everyone has their own track. So if all your friends are going out Saturday but you have a giant test on Monday, be like, you know what, I have a lot of weekends here. I'm just going to go out the next one and I'm going to study my butt off for Monday. So just don't get caught up in that. If you go to every single social gathering that happens, you will probably flunk out of school. So just think about it. If you want to stay there, study as well. Final category, and this is literally the random category because I had no idea what to call it. Definitely, you guys, at the top of the list is to make a budget and get a job. So guilty as charged. I did not make an actual budget this year, but that is something that I'm definitely going to be doing in next year. But I did get 2 jobs. I cannot really stress how important this is. It's really easy to show up to college and be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go shopping, I'm gonna go out to eat, I'm gonna do all these fun things, I'm gonna go to concerts every single day. You could totally do that, but you'd probably go in debt. So I would just highly recommend getting a job. It's definitely creates a nice balance too, where you have something else during the day. You have class and then you also have work. So I honestly feel like it made me manage my time better as well, because I had less time to do homework. So during those hours that I had free, I was way more inclined to just get my homework done. My next piece is to create kind of a designated laundry day or a productive day. This doesn't even have to be an entire day itself, but maybe class gets canceled one morning. Instead of just staying in bed, go do your laundry. Go do your laundry on that Tuesday morning where there's not going to be that many people doing their laundry, and you're going to be able to get all those dryers that you wanted, you know? Like, clean up your dorm, put some Clorox wipes over your desk, you know, make sure everything's nice and clean, just so your room isn't looking like a mess, because no one is there to pick it up except you. This is probably going to be also in my organizational video that I will go more in depth in, but definitely make a routine for your day. When you're going to do your homework, when you're going to wake up, maybe you're going to go to the gym, when you have to work. There's just a lot of things that you have to keep track of in college, and you are solely your own boss. So just make sure you have a structure to your day, and maybe you don't have that much going on. That's fine. You know, chunk out when you're going to study, chunk out even maybe when you're going to eat. And then I felt like it made it a lot easier for me to also chunk out when I was going to do fun things. And then my final piece of advice is to get a phone that has like the little card slot in it. You can get the stickers. I also just bought this phone case from Thread Wallets, and I really, really like it. You can put like cards and credit cards and stuff in the back of it. At LMU, we have this thing called a one card, and you need it for like literally everything. Alright, you guys, so this was probably kind of a lengthy video. I apologize for that, but this is a lot of advice I do have for incoming freshmen. Let me know if you guys want me to kind of make this a series, because I would absolutely love to do that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and if you stuck around to the end, wow, you are a saint. But look forward to more study abroad vlogs, and I will see you guys in my next video.